What's up, family? How we doing today? Welcome back to the channel. You know it's your boy D, and this is the Daily Due Diligence channel, right? D's Daily DD. I want to remind you that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, right? So don't take it as that. Take it for the educational, entertainment purposes only, right? So today and this week, guys, we have a big week ahead of us, right? Right now, we're gonna have Lucid earnings that are gonna come out, which the stock is very volatile right now, guys. So please be careful with that, right? With options and whatnot. Also, tomorrow we got the AMC earnings report coming out, and it's very interesting that they pushed it up too, right? From I think it was originally like March 8th and the 4th, and now they pushed it up to tomorrow, March 1st. All right, so that's gonna be awesome to see what they got in store for us, right? All right, guys. So hope you enjoyed your weekend, right? I know I did. I was trying to stay off the internet, just kind of clear my mind and get ready for the volatility that's coming because yeah, I saw more news about hedge funds and banks and all that, like talking about each other, and that's why I still have this gut feeling, and I believe that we are near the squeeze, right? Because back before all this stuff started, the probe and the DOJ, the SEC also stepping in and looking into this stuff with the short sellers and the banks and whatnot. We didn't have all that going on, right? The past year, not that we were aware of, like it was kind of like even more secret than it is now, but we're getting like little bits and pieces of information, guys. All right. So that's why I believe that, AMC is near the squeeze. The MOAS is what I'm talking about, right? I can't give you dates. I'm not here to give you dates or nothing. But it's just what my gut feeling is saying. All right, guys. So that's what I got for you on that. And yeah, so we got some information we do need to go over, right, guys? So let's do it. And thank you to all the new subscribers I got over the weekend, guys. I really appreciate y'all, right? And we're growing the family, guys, right? We're almost at 200, so let's get it. Cool. Let's dive into this. So first off, there is heavy sanctions that are hitting Russia from, left and right. So they're facing currently like a financial meltdown, right? As they slam its economy. I'm not going to read the whole thing, guys, but this is what I think is what we also need to keep in mind, right? So the President Vladimir Putin held crisis talks with his top economic advisors after the ruble crashed to a record low against the US dollar. The Russian central bank more than doubled interest rates to 20%. And the Moscow Stock Exchange was shuttered for the day. It will stay closed Tuesday, the central bank announced, right? So I don't know the conversion rate or nothing to the US dollar, but here we go, right? So you can see that it just does not look good, right? Just an extreme down spiral, right? So just straight down, guys, right? So not good there for them, right? But maybe this could cause margin calls, right? As far as I know, right, if the hedge funds or whoever's holding these short positions with these highly shorted stocks, they get a margin call because of another play that they're in, or things that they're holding, guys, like that could be good for the apes, all right, in my opinion. So first off, let's before we look at the chart, guys, why soaring inflation is good news for AMC and not for DoorDash, right? So kind of an interesting article. I just think it's funny that you're starting to see a lot of bullish positive things that are coming out about AMC because they give that preliminary announcement, right, that they're probably going to beat earnings. Okay, so what do we need to look for tomorrow? I know this is not a fundamental play, but I heard a YouTuber say, like, did they move the earnings up because the line is gonna move, right? Right, because they didn't leave it there like because the line was not gonna move, right? So like, there's probably a reason why they pushed up the earnings. Okay. What's more, AMC has 5.4 billion of debt on its balance sheet. Regardless of how much inflation rises, it will not increase the sum of the debt or the interest expenses it has agreed to pay. In its most recent quarter for AMC, rent and interest expenditures totaled 214 million and 88 million respectively. To put those figures into context, AMC generated 763 million in revenue in the quarter that ended in September 30th. Rising inflation is also strategically positive for AMC, huh? Consumers are paying higher prices for things in their lives, including transportation, food and fuel, and more. Right? Management can keep prices flat, making its services relatively more attractive to consumers. So now it's a fundamental play, right? Is what the Motley Fool is saying here. Or it can raise prices on tickets and concessions to match its rising prices elsewhere. So they did raise prices by 16%, right, in the third quarter of 2021. Okay, so that was before the Spider-Man movie, so that's good, right? Of course, AMC will experience higher costs in the same areas of business, but not it's entirely immune from inflation. For instance, it may need to pay more for food and beverage inputs. However, that is highly a profitable segment that generated 265 million in revenue and 42 million in costs in Q3. Overall, AMC's high fixed costs allowed to weather inflationary periods well. The business model has the additional benefit of improving profitability with expanding sales, right? Because they have acquired more theaters, right? As we know, the evident is on AMC's year-over-year improvement in net loss, increasing from 906 million in Q3 2020 to 224 million in Q3, while revenue increased from 119 million to 763 million, right? So there's that piece. I'm gonna, kind of keep going on that. But now it's always having to do, right? Like we know that they look down on meme stocks and all that, right? So they're always gonna put it in there, right? So meme favorite AMC Entertainment Q4 earnings preview. What I did want to touch, okay, so the estimate that they have right now is negative 25 cents, right? So I believe we can beat that, or at least meet it. And the consensus revenue estimate is 1.1 billion in revenue, right? So I believe we're going to beat the revenue for sure, right? In my opinion, because of what happened with the Spider-Man movie, and the Spider-Man movie has still been selling, and so on, right? So in the 3 months that ended in September 30, AMC sales were 763 million, a huge improvement from the 119 million in the same period last year, okay? In its Q4 preliminary report, the company announced total revenue of 1.17 billion and the net loss range of 194 million and 114 million, and operating cash burn to be negative, or I believe negative 216 million. The revenue of 1.1 billion still trails quarterly average revenue of 1.37 during FY19. Heavy debt load on its balance sheet. Monthly cash burns, including quarterly cash rent payments, deferred rents, dividend resumption. The company issued its last dividend on March 23rd, 2020. So yeah, it's just breaking down more of the numbers, but here the total debt has been around 11 billion the past few quarters. The company issued 950 million senior notes to fund the full redemption of its first lien senior secured notes and pay related fees, costs, premiums, and expenses, right? So I believe Adam will kind of break this down more and show us where it's at. But what somebody also said that I noticed on YouTube, right? They said that they could possibly issue a dividend, right? Because in order for a company to issue a dividend, they have to have very low debt, right, or no debt, right? So that's what we have to pay attention to. That's what could be a good catalyst, right? Tomorrow, like unexpected good news, right? So year to date, the stock has eroded 35%. However, the past 1 year stock has gained 113%. Over the last 2 years, AMC has beaten estimates 38% of the time and has beaten revenue 88% of the time, right? So there's a pretty good chance that we're going to beat revenue. And then as well as like the next quarter, I think, right? Because of the popcorn thing and crypto, and that's going to be, in my opinion, like more streams of revenue, right? Over the last 3 months, EPS estimates have seen 2 upward revisions and 3 downward. Revenue estimates have seen 1 upward revision and 3 downward. All right, cool. So yeah, so that's some of the numbers just for what we're looking for in the earnings report tomorrow, okay? But remember, there's bigger things and more of a macro picture of what's going on with the government and the short sales and banks. It looks like they're snitching on each other and whatnot, right, over who did what. And now that the FBI is also like looking into all this, and I think we're this close because how like they're seizing things, they're going in there, right, and taking phones, emails, all that stuff. As soon as they have time, I'm sure they're analyzing it, looking through it, seeing what they find, right? Okay, now to look at the chart, guys, I mean, it was just a really, really good day, right? As far as price action for AMC, I do love to see these green days, obviously, right? So up 6.8% for the day, shot up. This was pre-market here. This is the regular trading hour. So right in the morning, right, just boom, got rejected. And that's because I've been saying the $20 mark is key, guys. Like that is dangerous zones or an area for the short sellers, okay? So they were able to bring it back down, and then we saw strength right into close, and not much going on right now after hours, right? Because we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But I want to go to the daily chart because this is, I think, what is the most important as far as like the charts, right? We're at this point here, guys. Look at where we're at. We're crossing through, right? We need to see a break above it, because if we do, guys, in my opinion, we're going to see a run at least back to this level, right? Pretty fast, okay? Because most of the time, whether you break from the top or you push from the bottom, it's gonna at least go back to the 50% level, right, of where it either fell from or where it's rising from, okay? That's just how charts and patterns and, you know, things like that. What I'm paying attention to is this huge bull flag, right? This huge wedge here, or not bull flag, just this huge wedge that we have here, because we've already bounced off the support a couple times, which is what we want to see if we want to see a reversal. And we already broke out of we broke out of this mini downtrend here, found its way through the bigger wedge, right? Because the lower that it goes like this, the longer this goes on, the lower the price, the resistance becomes as well, right? Because you're following the pressure. It's like a spring that it's compressing. It can only take so much compression, right, before it explodes. And it's looking right now like it's going to explode to the upside, okay? And we know, like, because of things like utilization, you know, the high short interest, that is key, guys. Like, this is telling us something, right? In my opinion, something good. You look at the net volume, right, going up. You look at the OBV. Let's see. It did come down, right? This is the daily, right? So obviously that was back then. So right now it's coming back up, right? Making its way back up. So yeah, not much else to really, you know, go over on the chart there. This is a bullish setup in my opinion, right? Apish setup to where we can finally start to see these moves to the upside, okay? Let's go on. I'm gonna point this out. It's off Twitter, right? I do recommend Twitter because there's a lot of news that comes out, you know, fast. If you're looking for the most recent things, usually you can find it on Twitter for a lot of stocks, right? So Citadel Securities annual financials released today. One number that stands out is 65 billion securities sold and not yet purchased, right? So it's talking about right here, securities sold, not yet purchased at fair value, 65 billion. Total assets is 79 billion, right? And it looks like they have 4.2 billion in cash, I think. So yeah, you probably can't see it because of the camera, but total liabilities and members capital says 79 billion. Let's go take a look at the AMC SPAC Tracker. Currently, you know, I don't know where these shares came from, obviously, right? I mean, we were down to like 500,000 available, I think at market open, if not like last night. 19,000 contracts that are in the money. At 19, we're going to have 5,000 more, almost 6,000. The rate for some reason went down, right? Never makes sense. But this is what's good to point out, right? So 19,000 calls that are in the money. And then we have puts, only 4,500 that are in the money, okay? So what's interesting, look here, for a day, right? 2 days, 47%, 39% shorts, and then all of a sudden they kicked it back up. So are the transparency rules in play now? We're gonna have to see. But it's interesting that we just went up 6.8% on that, right? Currently, right now, that we have gone, you know, that the transparency, we don't know for sure. You know, there is both sides, that they are, there aren't, that I've heard. So we have to wait and see, guys, okay? But now let's go over and talk about Lucid. Lucid's releasing its earnings. Let's see what the price is at. It was very volatile, right? So we erased the gains for the whole day, right? So it was up 10% for the day, and then now it's down negative 10.49% after hours. So it's at $26 currently, right? Obviously a very new company. Volatility is expected, guys. Again, I'm going long on Lucid. I'm going long on AMC. Okay, so I do talk about the daily price action and whatnot on the show, but I'm not looking right now. Currently, I don't have any short-term, you know, swing plays on this because of the volatility, right? We have to see what the earnings report says. You know, it should be starting right now. I think it started at 2:30. So we'll have to see what the CEO says, okay? But just a very interesting day. This is after hours. Like I was calling, it went down, right? And then it went right back to this this channel that it likes to go in. And in my opinion, guys, this was just big money, right? Just pumping, because they didn't know either what was going to happen, right, in the earnings report. So they pumped it, build it up, right? Pumped it, and then they just dumped it right now, right before earnings, right? Because they didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, this is pretty crazy. You see the volume just pumped up there like insane, right? And the RSI is at the bottom, and then you see, of course, the net volume go crazy there. So yeah, just this is expected, guys. I mean, just from experience, that the way I look at it, I know that it's gonna make crazy moves, okay, on good news or bad news, right? So let's just jump into a couple things. This is why I think the price just dropped so dramatically. This is what I found, right? So Lucid delivered 125 cars in Q4 with total production exceeding 400 vehicles, but there was so there was 25,000 customer reservations reflecting potential sales of more than 2.4 billion. This is the bad news though. So 2022 production outlook, 12,000 to 14,000 vehicles, right? In 2022, SPAC investor deck estimated 20,000 vehicles that were going to be in production, right? But it doesn't seem like, because of supply issues, like because of, you know, what we're dealing with right now with everything, like I think that's, you know, expected though. They're not going to be able to hit the 20,000. Okay. So that's the bad part, the bad news or whatever, right? The bad side of it. But there is a lot of good news, and kind of to explain to you, you know, what is expected, and even, you know, this article, what it's talking about. So let's see. Electric vehicle company Lucid was up, right, a little bit this morning, and it's gonna, you know, talk about today. Should keep a close eye on core business, production, deliveries, manufacturing, and spending plans. All right, so there's gonna be a lot of details in the report, but the retail service network, right, that's one thing that you need to keep an eye on. Lucid opened its 22nd studio service center on February 17, right? So these locations will help prospective customers interact with Lucid's products and existing customer service for their vehicles in the event of a recall or other problems, okay? Now, updates on charging partnerships, right? They don't create their own charging stations, I don't believe, right, Lucid. So they have not elected to build its own charging network, relying instead on the growing presence of third-party electric infrastructure companies. This should be a good long-term move because it will keep spending down, right? Investors should listen to the updates on Lucid's partnerships with third-party companies, especially given the passing of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. So down the road, you know, maybe they could partner with a ChargePoint. They could partner with, you know, a third-party company to help each other out, right? And then licensing. Lucid has been open to licensing its technology to third parties as another way to make money. On the speculation with the Apple partnership, right, has come out recently. It has been ramped up for months. There's no material backing for this claim, but there's still a possibility, right? They haven't denied it, right? So the dependence on Saudi Arabia, right, as of September 30th, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund held 62% stake in Lucid. In its Q3 earnings call, Lucid said that Saudi Arabia represented a key market and it could eventually build a manufacturing plant, which I'm going to touch on right now in another article because there's a little bit of details that I found. And the subpoena clarification, right? So because they received one on December 3rd calling for certain documents. The exact reason for the SEC subpoena is unclear, but it was likely due to past lofty projections by Lucid were grounded in speculation rather than fact. Okay. Let's go over here. Yeah, so they're going to report the fourth quarter, you know, in fiscal year 2021 financial results on Monday today, and announces the Q&A. So there is going to be a portion where the investors can ask questions through the partnership with the Say platform, right? And the conference call, yeah, starts at 2:30 to the company, right, to issue earnings press release with the link in the live webcast. So if you want to go after this video, I'm going to go, you know, listen in, see what's going on. But if you want to go, you can just go to the Lucid website, right, and click on this and it'll take you there. So it's at 2:30 and it's a live broadcast, right, to listen into the conference and to hear what the CEO has to say, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. And then yeah, guys, so that was the key part. So they did announce, right, that they're going to start building the what's it called, the manufacturing plant in Saudi Arabia as soon as like 2026, all right? And so that's why there's no way that I think that Saudi, you know, the investors are going to pull out because they own 62% of the shares currently. I don't see them pulling out in any way, shape, or form, because they want to move everything to that side, right? They want to build a little hub where they can start, expanding, right? Because Lucid wants to expand to China and the European markets as well, and because they're only currently in America, and so that's going to be more revenue, guys, right? So yeah, that's what I got for you guys today, right? Just got to cover some important information right there that came out. So thanks for coming by. I appreciate all y'all, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. All right, catch you in tomorrow's video. Yeah.